Why is he wearing that? Cultural appropriation. Isn't he ashamed?
Actually, I'm wearing it because of this, and I am a bit ashamed of my hair. And also I wanted to try on my Jim Gaffigan embarrassed, offended crowd voice. I thought I did okay. Welcome to today's ptm.org Breakfast with Brad. For breakfast today, I'm going to have 2 hard-boiled eggs. I will peel them, slice them in half, and then embed in them some garlic stuffed olives. Incredibly delicious and also a good source of protein. Back to embarrassment, back to shame. I remember as a kid hearing this verse from the Gospel of Luke in Jesus' own words, "For whoever is ashamed of me and my words of this one, the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes in his glory, the glory of the Father and of the holy angels." And that text was really used on us at times to shame us into evangelism. If we didn't tell all our friends that we love Jesus, well, maybe he'll be embarrassed of you one day. And so there was a real fear-driven element to our sharing and a kind of a shame-based evangelism that no doubt was projected onto those with whom we were sharing. But after detoxing from that for a long time, I've actually let myself think about those words. Are we embarrassed of those words? Are we ashamed of the words of Jesus there? Because they don't really fit our notion of what's palatable. And is that a goal? Making Jesus' words palatable for us rather than undergoing them as a deep challenge to our thinking? I want to share how there's 2 ways I've been noticing folks moving on from Jesus himself and on from his words and barely reading him because they're ashamed of what he said and who he is. So on the Christian right, for example, those who call themselves conservatives fail to conserve his words that call us to peace and to turning the other cheek and to loving our enemy and to laying down the sword. And we almost wish that he would be a little more militaristic. We wish there'd be a little more wrath in his message. We wish he would call us up into arms and that we could be his agents of punishment in the world. That really happens. And I'm afraid that there are those who are like the ancient zealots who cannot handle Jesus as he is in the gospel in terms of the call to nonviolence and peacemaking. But it's also true on the left. Some of my progressive friends who are really into deconstruction, they're embarrassed that he's a male. How dare God incarnate as a white male? Oh wait, he wasn't white, he was a person of color, but maybe not the right color. Oh wait, he's a Jew. Is that okay? And so all of a sudden there's this embarrassment of Jesus where I'm actually hearing a lot of folks saying, well, I'm really still into God, I'm still into faith, I'm still into spirituality, but I'm moving on from Jesus. This verse tells me that's a bad idea, and maybe you will, but I'm committed not to, and PTM is committed not to. We believe in, first of all, Christ-centered faith, and we're not embarrassed of the gospel because it really is good news. It's an invitation to love. And when I run into verses like this that I struggle with, guess what I do? I struggle with them instead of surrendering to some notion in my own mind that I've found the better way. So as we move on, please don't move on from Jesus, but if you do, undergo these words today. And that's today's Breakfast with Brad.